This world has so much to see, so much to experience. It changes so much, so often, that we're used to it. We have defined all that we know using words, using numbers, each word having a slightly different meaning to different people. That meaning can be similar or a world apart. Some meanings change, some stay the same, but this grand and immense world has complex systems all around it. Some of the most complicated things on this planet are us. How do we define people? Where do we start? Could we call ourselves human, mammalian, bipedal, endoskeletal? What word defines all that we are? How could we ever define ourselves down to the individual and all that they are, all that they hope, all that they want to be? Unfortunately, we can't. So we give them a word, and they work to define that word to everyone else. As they live, as they interact, they show us themselves. They try to make themselves an experience to remember. They change so much, so often, but we get used to it. They pour all that they know into that word using what they say, what they do, and the word they define is called a name. Each name has a drastically different meaning to different people. Most of the time, that meaning is no less than a world apart. The meaning of a name often changes, rarely staying the same, but that's because there's a world in a name. Having a world in a name makes it immense. It makes it complex. And that's us. How do we define ourselves? Where do we start? What's in a name? Think of what you call your caretaker. Most might think mom or dad, but some may think mother, papa, aunt or uncle, grandpa or grandma. What do you call them? And what does that name mean to you? Does it mean comfort, safety, danger, love, hate, fanatic, old, regret, peace, abandonment, connection? What actions does that name promote? Visit, avoid, call, care, ignore, argue, agree. Think of somebody you call by their given name. What does their name, that word, mean to you? Does it mean wisdom, comfort, annoying, ugly, beautiful, violent, judgmental, forgiving, ignorant, lazy, hardworking, funny, shallow, deep? Each name carries the definition of few or many experiences preceded by and throughout a lifetime. And each life touches and swirls in our minds in a way that creates a definition. The name John may mean loving, handsome husband to one, and the same John might mean annoying, overbearing, unpleasant to another. Just as a farm may bring images of fields of wheat to one mind and livestock to another, a name may show an unsightly and unkempt person to one, and a beautiful or handsome person, clean, dressed immaculately to another. So, who are we? What does our name mean? Are you kind, loving, quick to anger? Are you lonely, loved, attractive, avoided? Are you capable, weak, or willful? It's nearly impossible to know what our definition is until we're told. Nobody ever tells us. My name is Ty. I try to be comfort, a place to go when and if you need to. I try to be patient, honest. I try to love my friends and family, but what do they think when they hear the name Ty? Do they think comfort? Perhaps interesting, boring, fun, complex, simple? Do they see fear, insecurity, strength, weakness? Do they want to be near or far? Do they want to know less or more? We try to understand how the people we love define us, and it's nearly impossible without their help. We struggle and try as often as possible to be the best we can be, know the most we can know, love the people we love. But is it enough? Think of your name. What does it mean to you? For a moment, ignore what anybody else thinks of you and think of you. Ask yourself questions that can be answered, like, what do I like making people feel? Do I act differently alone, with one other person, or in a group? Do I firmly believe things, or do I believe only what others suggest? Am I strong? Do I want to be? Do I like how I look? What foods do I like? Where are my favorite places? What is my favorite color? Do I try to love people? Having the answer to those questions, if you had a friend like that, who stayed by your side always, what would you think of them? Would you treasure their company? Would you want to get away? Would you think the things that they think? Would you run to them each day? If you don't like that person, are you willing to change? If you don't think that you matter, what would you think if you did? After all those questions, ask yourself, what if I matter? If you believed that you mattered to someone, anyone, or to yourself, how would your answers change? If someone treasured your company, thought the things that you thought, and tried to be closer to you, would you change what you try to make them feel? Would you act differently alone, with them, or in a group? Would you affirm your beliefs, or believe others more? Would you try to strengthen yourself, or get healthier? Would you try to like how you look, or put more effort into your appearance? Would you like foods that others like, go to places that others go to, see the colors that others see in the world? Would you try to love people more? Would your name mean something better? I asked myself this question after feeling worthless, unliked, avoided. I decided to ask, what if I matter? What if the people I call friends call me friend? What if my family likes hearing about me and my day? If they do, should I really insult their definition by believing that I have no worth in their eyes? No, I needed to remember that each person is a world. There's so much more of me than meets the eye. I have my own experience. I change so often, and that's okay. I try to pour all that I am into the definition others have for me. What's in my name? It's a world, and that is me. Each name carries the definition of few or many experiences, preceded by and throughout a lifetime, and each life touches and swirls in our minds in a way that creates a definition. No matter what you think of yourself, you can matter to you or to others if you try. Any interaction with others and any thought you come across expands the definition of you. So, who are you? What does your name mean? Try as often as possible to be the best you can be, know the most you can know, and love the people you love. There is a world in your name. It is immense and complex. You do matter.